Hello and thanks for watching. All the ideas contained within these videos are just that, they're ideas. Use these ideas as a jumping off point to create your own incredible access provision. And remember, it's really important to talk to the people who will be using the access you're creating and get their suggestions too.
Hello, my name is David Watson. I'm Head of Operations here at the New Wolsey Theatre, and one of the priorities that we've been focusing on throughout our ramps journey and a long time before is looking at our theatre, our built environment, and considering ways that we can really improve its access. The New Wolsey Theatre was built in the 1970s, so almost 50 years ago, and it was built at a time when there was, I think it's fair to say, not a lot of priority given to considering how the theatre could be best made accessible to audiences, to the cast on the stage, and also consideration given to who could work here. Here we are in the foyer of the New Wolsey Theatre. When the theatre opened in 1979, access for patrons who use wheelchairs was only via the ground floor. Audiences entered through the doors still as they do today. There were a very heavy set of doors in place at that time and no automations, so there wasn't the lift that we installed about 5 years after the New Wolsey opened in the mid 2000s. In the theatre auditorium, wheelchair users initially could only access the lower levels, and the wheelchair positions as designed were not integrated into the body of the auditorium, they were on the side. So the best position would have been around about here, or as advised by the architects, the wheelchair position would have been under the gallery, so the view would have been very much on the side from here. So those patrons would not have felt like they were part of the experience, part of the audience. In about the mid-1980s, the theatre did develop a lift system that enabled patrons using wheelchairs to access the top floor, and wheelchair positions were created either side at the back. They were still pretty much, though, not connected into the body of the auditorium and were somewhat to the side. The wheelchair positions either side have been adapted with the introduction of a companion seat to enable people who come with patrons using wheelchairs to sit together. When the New Wolsey Theatre Company started, we created a wheelchair platform system that was on either side of the auditorium on the ground floor. Initially, we were able to take out 2 sets of seats in row B and row C and create a small platform for one wheelchair position here and one wheelchair position on the opposite side. We've then improved that to create a double platform system, which can enable wheelchair users who come together to sit together. And you can have 4 wheelchair users sitting on the ground floor position and 2 wheelchair users sitting upstairs. So over time, we've increased and increased and increased the amount of people using wheelchairs that can sit in the body of the auditorium. We have also put a platform system in, which enables us to take out the front 2 rows and level the floor. And we use this for dementia-friendly and relaxed performances, and that increases the wheelchair occupancy in the auditorium to 16. The full platform, when it's in, is not only brilliant to enable access into the auditorium for patrons using wheelchairs. We learned when we were doing the technical rehearsals of our Ramps on the Moon production, Tommy, how essential that facility was to enable the cast and the creatives to fully access the auditorium in terms of the making of that show, and without it, it would have been a very, very difficult process. It's of course really important that we enable access for cast and creatives as well, and during production week, when we bring the production desk into the auditorium, it's important that we create an access opportunity. So we have adapted the seats in this area so they are also removable, and again we can create a platform access so that there is smooth wheelchair access into the body of the auditorium and to the production desk positions. Here we are at the stage door, which we recently automated and also ensured that we modified the entrance to ramp the access in. Here we are in the stage right wing. As you will see, There is stair access from the stage right wing up to the dressing room corridor. So a big priority was how do we enable lift access to the stage, and we did that in 2012 by installing a lift which goes to 4 levels backstage. The lift also enables access to the first floor backstage of the theatre where the office accommodation is. When the theatre was originally built, the office accommodation was a series of small rooms, much like this one here. One of our priorities to improve access was to take as many of the interior walls down as possible. And here we created an open plan office system which is much easier to get in and out of. Here we are backstage on the ground floor. The lift brings cast and crew up to here, through to our suite of dressing rooms. We have 4, 2 either side of an accessible green room, and we've modified 2 of the dressing room doors to make them wider for wheelchair access, and made some further modifications inside, including lower rails for costumes, and we've adapted one section of the countertop to make it height adjustable. In addition to dressing room modifications, we've also created a washroom. We were aspiring to create a full changing places washroom backstage, but we didn't have enough footprint. So when we had the opportunity to build the new building NW2, we made sure that a changing places washroom was an essential part of the design. Here we are outside the New Wolsey Theatre, where we proudly show off our most recent building project, NW2, our fantastic participation space. And here it is, at the centre of NW2 is our fully fledged changing places facility. It includes a full hoist system and my most favourite feature, a height adjustable sink. One of the most important things we've learned with all the projects that we've undertaken is how essential it is that access is at the heart of decision making, and we've worked with designers and consultants and taken them on their own journey of understanding of what's possible. We're really proud of all the things that we've so far achieved within making access improvements into our 1970s building. There is of course much more that we want to do, and there'll be many more projects to come in the future.